Hey everybody, welcome back to YAFTV. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2023, and I'm so glad to be back with you here on the channel. I want to thank you so much for supporting the channel, keeping it going, and I'll just start with my disclaimer. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is protected by the United States Constitution protecting free speech, as well as the Sullivan Act and reporting. It is not intended to bully or harass anyone, never to incite violence or hatred or lawlessness of any kind. It doesn't give legal, medical, or financial advice. Therefore, the disclaimers in the description below. So thanks so much, folks. Thanks for supporting the channel, keeping it going. I'm so glad to be back with you here this week. We'll get this week going good. Let's jump in with the news, shall we? I'll get into plugging later and talking about a new product that I want to talk about. That's not mine, but just one I want to suggest for people trying to fight the turbo cancers. We'll get into that later, but I want to just mention here, starting out, if you haven't checked out publicsquare.com, and all of your Cyber Monday, all of it, go ahead and check out publicsquare.com. They are we don't have an alternative to Amazon yet. That was created by DARPA, created by IARPA, the Intelligence Advanced Research Project. DARPA is the Defense Advanced Research Project. They created Facebook and of course most of the social media platforms. But IARPA created Amazon. This was the intelligence arm of the advanced research projects of our intelligence agencies. They created Amazon so that they could, what was coming with the social credit score that's about to be rolled out, they could basically capture everybody's, what you're buying, what you're into, how they can profile you, everything they know about you comes out of Amazon. That was IARPA, and Bezos' father or his uncle, who was his mentor, in the intelligence, was who created Amazon. It didn't come out of nowhere. It certainly wasn't just a open market capitalism thing. No. Amazon was created to record every purchase ever made and to get a plug into every purchaser for the upcoming social credit score system. So look into publicsquare.com, get into the Patriot way of buying and selling, that we don't have to be part of this usury system that is Cartel Babylon's Amazon. So anyway, moving ahead. Okay, thanks for listening to that. But because I want us all to buy from Patriots. Okay, we need to. We're in this time where we can't avoid the fact that all of our dollars going overseas to fund wars, to fund Ukraine, money laundering, to fund the slaughter in Israel, all of it comes out of our dollars. So how you spend it is so important. All right, so we're going to get into today a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about, I think I'm going to start talking about COP28, which is about to start. COP28, of course, the COP 27, 26, 25, these are all the climate cartel Babylonians getting together in various places to decide how they can further destroy our infrastructure in the Western world out of this climate change biggest lie, where they are using social engineering to make it so that we believe, which we don't, but that people believe that their exhaling of carbon is somehow awful for the planet, and that all of our normal industries of oil and gas, etc., are harming the planet when they're not. They're actually greening the planet, making it better. But COP28 is about to set off in the United Arab Emirates, okay, right there next to Qatar. And so we get the UAE. They're expecting 70,000 people to come to the UAE for COP28. This is starting on November 30th. It runs through the 12th. They do it every year. And what's happening here this year, they're focusing very primarily on climate reparations. Climate reparations, 70,000 people coming in to to the UAE to stay in massive luxury hotels. And this year they're expecting a larger carbon footprint from any other COP gathering ever, where they're expecting 400 private jets to arrive in the UAE. Massive amounts of just pollution. Okay, whatever. I'm not against it. What I'm saying is that it's being used to harm Western civilization. It's being used as harm to cause a globalist shutdown of Western civilization, of the normal use of energy and gas, oil, gas, the normal ways that we do society. They want to turn it into an electric world because they want a smart world controlled by AI. And what we're doing here with 400 jets in arriving in the UAE in a couple days is that will be the biggest carbon footprint ever to go to a COP event. Okay, that will be the hugest amount of carbon emitted, so that John Kerry and all the rest of the barely, John Kerry, he's like barely alive. He's like a walking skeleton of, if there was a skull and bones man, which he is. He's a skull and bones man. He is the skull and bones, right, of climate change. And so he's going to be there trying to give away more of our taxpayer dollars that don't even exist as we move into, we were at $33 trillion in September of debt. Mid-September, we had $33 trillion in debt, okay, from, $33 trillion, okay. 90 days later, by mid-December, okay, so mid-September, we were $33 trillion in debt. By mid-December, 90 days later, we're going to be $34 trillion in debt because of all the money they're printing and that they're giving away to all of these people, like the COP28, like Ukraine, Israel, all of it. All the money that they're stealing and money laundering, just creating debt for our great-great-grandchildren. That's what's happening right now. And so in COP28, guess what? Oh, climate reparations. So climate reparations, it means that they just want to steal money from the first world, meaning steal money from the Western civilization, to give to the third world. I don't know. Really, I think they just want to money launder it. They're not giving it to anybody. They're just going to basically capture them into a UN loan, into an IMF loan, to create more technology that doesn't work. Wind farms, solar, all of this that doesn't work. And to create new things like hydrogen that is going to use tons of water to split that into hydrogen. They're basically just saying, how do we completely shut down Western civilization? That's what's going on with COP28. And we're going to be looking at this massive wealth shift is what they're going for. And so I'll just get into, why is it happening that all of the shift of money going from the first world into third world countries, but especially the Arab countries, okay? It's not like the money's going into South America. It's not going into, it's basically going into Muslim and communist countries, okay? Muslim and communist countries. The rest of the countries that are massively becoming full populist, everywhere from South America, we get Malay in Argentina. We have the great president of El Salvador. We have, Finland, Netherlands, Germany, even across the world. Hungary, Poland. Everybody's pulling out of this globalist steel. Okay, this globalist, and we'll just call it globalist and Arab steel and Chinese steel. So you get the CCP, you got the House of Saud, and all of their minions, Qatar, all of it running with Israel, and you get, the World Economic Forum. And so this is controlling everything to destroy the United States and Western civilization. But every European country is waking up hugely right now, and it's so good, it's so beautiful and alive, because we're seeing people saying no. The MPs are coming alive, saying no, we're winning, and we're not going to give into this globalist Build Back Babylon Better regime. We're going to say no to it. And so it's happening all over. So I'm going to get into that. I want to mention here, Xavier Milei out of Argentina, the populist. He calls himself an anarcho-capitalist. He's a little funkadoodle, little strange on the morality scale. I'm not sure what's going on there, but they had 100% paper ballots in Argentina, 100% paper ballots counted in one day, and that gave him the presidency. And that's what we need, 100% paper ballots counted in one day. Here in the United States, we need it everywhere, but very interesting to see that. And so I'm going to move into, a bunch more about all this. So I want to kind of get into a couple things here. We have, we have a number of things. All right, we have what's being caught out here in the USA. When we talk about the paper ballots, we talk about what needs to happen. Well, it's being shown even in Georgia. Joe Hoft has come out with the Gateway Pundit and put out an amazing story about how Raffensperger, right? Remember, Trump made the call to Raffensperger that got him on the hook for them to try to come against Trump, and they're indicting him in Georgia. Well, Raffensperger is now being caught out in Georgia for there being 17,000 ballot images missing. Remember when Trump called and said, hey, look, we know it's all a steal. I need 10,000 ballots. I need 10,000 votes because you guys are stealing it there in Georgia. And he's being indicted for that in Georgia right now. And basically, it's come out really clearly that 17,000 ballots have images missing, that they know that these 17,000 ballots are fraud. They know 17,000 ballots are fraud. That right there, okay, is a massive win for us. And we need to understand that the RNC is completely broke. It's completely broke under Ronna McDaniel. Okay, it's done. It's done. There's like $9 million, she's saying, in the coffers right now for the RNC. Are you kidding me? RNC is broke. Okay, and why is that? Because nobody wants to give money to Nikki Haley, to DeSantis, DeSanctimonious, as Trump calls him. Nobody wants to give money to these failing candidates because they know that the RNC is stealing money away from the America First candidates. So the RNC is broke. Ronna McDaniel must stand down, and you have to please call your candidate 202-225-3121. Call your representatives and say, hey, we want Ronna McDaniel gone, and she could be gone in January when there's an RNC next meetup. We need to get rid of Ronna McDaniel. $9 million is only what they have in their coffers. And in 2019, before the Trump run of 2020, they had $61 million. Okay, so they're playing out this fake primary that isn't happening. And if Trump obviously was named as the candidate, was said this is get rid of the primaries, no Alabama next ridiculous primary a debate, okay, that doesn't exist. Get rid of it. Start putting Trump forward, and then everybody's going to give their money, of course, because nobody believes in this. Ronna McDaniel even lied, saying that they're so devoid of funds because they have 70 lawsuits in 28 states regarding the RNC. And what's wicked funny is we get even Mark Elias, the Hillary Clinton hitman, Okay, Mark Elias comes out and says, actually, Rana, there's only 28 lawsuits involving the RNC in 16 states. And so even the Dems are coming out against Ronna McDaniel, which is odd. You'd think they'd want to support her in her fraud, in her completely destroying the RNC, but nope, they still want to support it. So as we look at what's going on in Israel, we look at what's happening with, the release of the hostages and the blah, 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 blah. We all know that it is build back Gaza, Babylon better, baby. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to let up. They're the whole thing about Gaza. We have Elon Musk going to visit with Netanyahu the last few days. He's gone there basically to see, after Netanyahu already met him in Silicon Valley, on October 3rd at the time, or the 4th, at the time of the broadcasting network delivery system. He's now gone to Israel to meet with Netanyahu, and they're talking about it. They're saying, oh, yeah, we have to take care of the Hamas. Literally, this is about building back Gaza into a smart city zone, and really a smart port and a smart takeover of that part of the Mediterranean, where they're going to, build this canal, the Ben Gurion Canal, and they want it devoid of people. They want to build it back better, Babylon style, and they're going to make it a totally smart venture, okay, with complete control of satellite-based smart systems in that area, and everybody's going to be gone. There's not going to be a Palestinian left in Gaza, and of course you're getting them trying to force the U.S. to take the Gazans. It's very interesting, when we look at how they deal with population control, because really, they just want to kill them all. They want to kill all of us if they could. The humans are in the way. Okay, they need us. Okay, for our labor for now. Okay, until the AI can do more of it, but they need us as slave labor, and it's where they're going as they buy up all of the real estate everywhere. BlackRock, Vanguard, making sure that even here in the United States, we will not own another home. You will not own anything because BlackRock and Vanguard are going to make sure that you cannot afford another home, because they're out buying every market in every neighborhood, way above market price when they buy the real estate, to make sure that we cannot buy any real estate and own homes here anymore in the United States. And it's the mechanism, part of how they're taking down our United States. And so let's move on forward from that. So, we know in Ireland, we had this massive, the knifing attack by the 50-plus-year-old Algerian guy who somehow managed to stay in Ireland for 25 years. He had a deportation order, and then somehow became back and got a supposedly citizenship, but never worked a day in his life, totally supported on welfare in Ireland, and then went ahead and stabbed, 5 people, 3 of them children. And we get this very strange situation where, 100,000 Ukrainians have been brought into Ireland, okay, in the last year, since the Ukraine war, last 2 years. And people are fed up, and you get the riots of last week. And what's really interesting is we get Hazel Chu. Hazel Chu is a really interesting person, because she's Hazel Chu from the Green Party somehow managed to rise up and become the Lord Mayor of Dublin. And, what I find so interesting about this, Ireland being probably really one of the more uber, Catholic countries, the most Catholic country outside of Rome. In the world outside of Italy, I would say that Ireland is the most Catholic country in the world. And you have this situation of just pitting Muslims and against the Catholics. And you get this situation of a Chinese mayor, Hazel Chu, born apparently in Dublin, and yet she's not a native English speaker. It's very interesting to look at her. She was supposedly her parents from Hong Kong, and then she grew up in Dublin, and now she's the Lord Mayor of Dublin. It's so funny, and she's just this woman speaking with a really serious Chinese accent, who has these missing years in China, where she kind of said she had to escape the racism of Ireland and go back to China for a while. And we're not supposed to think this has anything to do with the CCP. And then she's back, she's running the Green Party, and then she's like Lord Mayor of Dublin. Okay, this is a country that has dealt with 700 years of English invasion and rule. Okay, the crown, the massive country that we defeated here, 1776. Well, in Ireland, right next door there, right across the bay there, they've been dealing with it for 700 years, and they couldn't totally defeat it. And so what we had was, of course, the Scottish Presbyterians coming in as the sort of managing class. They came in as the managing class there. Well, they did the famines in Ireland. Well, they took all the food out of Ireland. They took all the food out, okay, to create these famines in Ireland. They literally they took all the animals, they took all the livestock out and starved out the Irish, okay, multiple times, several famines, and the Irish right now have been so hoodwinked and so screwed over. They had the Green Tiger, right, that happened in the 90s. And everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna get rich. We're gonna, whatever. We're gonna join the AU. Now we're gonna be rich, And now, no, not so much, because now the payment, the piper has come calling, and now the country's getting completely screwed by the EU, massively by the political class, and so what you take from that is, oh, you want your little very small time out of prosperity. Well, guess what you get from that? Oh, you get 125,000 migrants this year, 100,000 of them from the Ukraine. Such a small population, 6-8 million people in Ireland. You get this massive onslaught into small villages of Muslim migrants, Eastern European, Ukrainian migrants coming in, and there's constant violence, and this strange situation where a lot of the housing of migrants in Ireland, especially in these villages because they're small, they get put up in hotels. You have schools nearby. You get massive amounts of rapes, massive amounts of attacks, and this is the situation, right? All people should not be put in the same zoo. We do not hold the same values. And so, Muslims and Irish Catholics should not be put in the same situation. They should not be having to be forced to live together. They're completely opposite in what their beliefs are, and it's wrong. And so what's going on here in this last week, when we see 30 people arrested here in Ireland after an Algerian man in his 50s stabbed 5 people, injured 3 children, deaths. It's what you would expect to see riots, and it's what they want, especially in Ireland, because they can create a powder keg there, because the Irish are fighting Irish. They're strong people, and they're going to eventually fight back against this political class. That's what they do. And so that's what we're seeing there. And honestly, I'm kind of like, more power to it, because We need more of it because what's going to keep happening is that this caliphate situation is going to keep moving on. It's going to come here to the United States. It's going to come all across the world because it's meant to. It's the World Economic Forum, the Rothschilds, the Zionists, the Cartel Babylon is going to make sure that that the Muslim Caliphate will continuously intrude and invade because they're driving them, they're funding them. In Qatar right now, Hillary Clinton's lovely little condo that she has there, her little gift from the UAE, they're all going to continuously fund this fight to disrupt the Western civilization as much as they can. It's going to keep happening. And we're looking at basically a powder keg that's going to continue here in the United States very hugely. And hopefully we won't see it too soon. But no, it's going to come. And because our own intelligence is organizing it, they're making it happen. It's going to happen here. They're going to cause it, and they're going to cause multiple injuries, multiple FFEs. It's coming. So, anyway, that's probably, I'm preaching to the choir here about that. But, I want to just, say that, heads up to the Irish, keep fighting. Keep fighting. We don't let the replacement migration happen. You already saw it. You already saw it back when they took over and created Northern Ireland using those Scottish Presbyterians. You already know that they're going to take over your country. And so, hey, look, USA, look at Ireland. Yeah, they're a small population. They're having to deal with an enormous amount of Muslim migrants and Eastern European migrants. And it's not okay. And now it's going to happen here. We might have a much larger population, but guess what? They're coming in here through the millions. We've got 9, 10, 20, 30, as much as 50 million illegal immigrants in this country right now. And so many of them come from Muslim volatile countries. And it's being absolutely done on purpose through our southern border. It is a pipeline up through the Darien Gap, and it's going to keep happening until we stop it, like maybe how they did in Dublin last weekend. And so I want to get into a little other thing here as we move on, and just move into, well, actually, I want to mention one thing. In Poland, we get the truck drivers, out of Ukraine. Everybody's trying to escape. The last video I saw out of Ukraine was we had 60-year-old men being called up, as the next front line to be slaughtered by Russia. Zelensky's on his way out. You had your the head of the head of the party that Zelensky is in charge of. That MP came out against him and said, hey, we've known since 2022 that we can't win this war with Russia. I think that guy, I don't have his name in front of me, he's probably trying to replace Zelensky, but he's the head of that party, the head party there. And he's saying, we can't defeat Russia. We've known for over, a year and a half. And Zelensky's lying, basically. And this is all giant money grab, giant money laundering scheme, as our government, as our even our new lovely House Speaker Johnson, pushing for more money for Ukraine. Okay, these people are bought and paid for. What else is there? I mean, literally, does Johnson think we should give more money to Ukraine? What? This is all literal crazy town that we're even getting this from our government anymore. We know this is just a giant, it's kind of like they're just trying to get us past this point where the dollar is dying. It's almost dead. Okay. They're going to try to keep it alive with the CBDCs. They think they might be able to keep that dollar going if they just capture us in this CBDC system. But they're just going to steal and steal and steal and steal as much as they can for as long as they can. They're going to keep stealing everything they can until we say no. okay? Until we say no. And when do we say no? We say no with our dollar and what we buy, okay? We say no to any kind of these representatives that are promoting this, but it's not enough. It's not enough because the liar is going to lie. They're just going to lie and lie and lie. And so what does that mean? What do we do? How do we stop it? How do we stop it? I think we stop paying taxes. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to say, we're not paying for it. And if you guys are going to create money out of thin air like you've been doing, you're going to have to do it without our consent or participation. Something has to happen. And I think not paying taxes is going to have to be part of it. I say pay local taxes, local county taxes, property taxes. Yeah. State taxes, a little wonky. When you look at how much they're involved with the federal government, federal taxes, hello, all going to just totally screw me over, screw everybody over, screw over this country and literally give us away to a globalist takeover of our sovereignty. What do? How do we stop paying besides just buying local? I don't know. It's one question and answer for us to deal with. We're going to have to. It's getting down to that time. But I just think I look at this this report by Mark Jeffovic. Mark Jeffovic. He is talking about how the social credit score system is imminent in the USA, and that UBI will be absolutely mandatory. It's not that UBI will be offered. UBI will be mandatory, like Obamacare. Okay, you'll have to sign on to your UBI, your Universal Basic Income, like you will for Obamacare. You'll have to. Okay, it'll be legislated as law. Okay, in that you will have to get your CBDC, your digital wallet, your digital slavery system, and you'll have to do it. Mark Jeffovic, and what he's saying is that he read recent white paper reports, things coming out of LSN Global that does trans intelligence reports, and also Intrepid Travel dealing with future labs, and that they are saying that that there is no avoiding what is going to be a global neo-collectivism, that there's going to be basically a globalist communist system imposed. It's going to have the UBI and the CBDC inherent in it, and that there will be absolutely an 80% reduction in the quality of life for people in the first world. That we're looking at a reduction of all of our ways of life, okay, whether it's access to food, access to travel, access to energy, all of it, access to telecommunications, everything is going to be reduced, and it's going to only be filtered through this UBI, the Universal Basic Income, attached to the CBDC. You're going to have it. And not only that, but it gets into, when we look at COP28 that I was just talking about, well, what they're talking about there when they say, reparations, okay, climate reparations, well, this is all being connected more into what is to be us producing energy with our bodies, okay? This has to do with not only taking away our energy, our normal ways of doing things, oil, gas, all of it. No, it's not just about the wind farms and the solar panels. No. Our actual bodies are going to be mandated to be used for energy. This is 100%. This is like Bill Gates with his patent 060606, how to capture energy in a crypto system, bodily energy. Basically, you're going to have to produce energy to create your own UBI. It's at first they'll say, hey, here's your UBI, here's your universal basic income. You can have, this amount of money. You can't spend it on only this cricket protein and, whatever we say you can, your digitally produced food. But no, you're going to have to produce your UBI. You're going to have to produce it with your bodily functions, with your energy. And this gets into the nanosensors, it gets into the interbody nano network system, where they literally have, because of all the infrastructure of nanotech in our bodies that already is there, the biosensors, they're going to use your literal bloodstream, okay, your blood flow, okay, and your heartbeat, okay, to gather and suck energy out of you. It sounds crazy, but it's true, and it's already happening, and we already feel it, and we already know it. We know that the shots, that the crap from the fake pandemic, all the aerosolized nanotech that we've been breathing in forever, has been this moonshot, okay, to get us fully on board and ready, connected into this next level interbody nano network. And it's here. It's not somewhere else. It's here, and we're fighting it. I was listening to somebody today, great woman. What was her name? Dr. Mihalcea. I know I'm butchering her name, but I'll link it below. But she was talking about how Dr. Hajima out of Romania, using electron microscopy, a gynecologist, had been studying all of these CV shots, okay, and had not been able to find any nitrogen or phosphorus anywhere in the shots, okay, anywhere in the shots. And so what it means is that there was no mRNA in the shots, because mRNA would have to have some sort of living technology, living biology in there, living substance, which would be phosphorus or nitrogen. You can't have anything living, okay, without those two things, and they were not detectable in the shots. And so what it means is that it's only completely bogus biotech in the shots that are lifeless, dead nanotechnology in these shots. And so what they did find was tons of metals, okay, titanium, yttrium, both of these used for massive biosensor nanotech, and then phytoluminescent microelectronics. Basically, you get your luciferase, your graphene, all of this, and tons of silicone. Okay, and that's your PEG. You get your polyethylene glycol, and what they were finding, Dr. Mihalcea, is that you get that when she would draw blood, okay, from people. Could be anybody, not even people with the shots, honestly, at this point, because we're so infected by the spread and the shed. We're breathing it in, aerosolized. Okay, we're breathing it in, and that drawn blood turns to hydrogel, okay, a rubbery substance in 4 hours. So you draw somebody's blood, okay, and it's turning to a rubbery substance in 4 hours. It just it's full of silicone, it's full of PEG. It's full of nanotech and particles, and the blood literally is like just a shell, okay, around all these substances. She reported that the organs, that our organs are turning to rubber, okay, with plasticine nanomaterials, that the invasion of what they call microplastics, but really aren't. There's something more sinister than microplastics. That's a nice term for it. But we have so much silicon and poly plasticine materials in our organs, okay, that it's literally, they're taking over, the nanotech is taking over our organs, turning us cyborg style into our organs having rubbery materials in them. It's why people are getting the heart attacks, why they're getting the strokes, why, just the rapid heart disease, all of it is because of what we're breathing in, aerosolized nano particulates of micro robotics, okay, that are able to create these they're two-dimensional lattices, okay, of polymolecular material, okay, that build these lattices in our organs, and it's shutting down our organs. It's shutting us down. It's creating massive accelerated aging, causing massive strokes and heart attacks. And it is, they're trying to take over humanity and to change our God-given DNA. I feel like I'm kind of rambling on here in this video. It's because I know I think I just say this stuff all the time. I could say, hey, here's another level of it. Morgellons, back in the day, like 5 years ago, we were all Morgellons. That was the first launch. They put out the Morgellons, it was like the Frankenstein level of where people were growing, wires out of their body, okay, coming up through their skin from the Morgellons, because the biosensors weren't as they weren't as refined, okay, at that point. Now at this level, the CV fake pandemic bioweapon assault was this. It was to get all the biosensors into us to connect us to the WBAN, the wireless wireless body area networks, okay, so that we would have these sensors in us that were just wireless, biosensors that are connected to the wireless, where they can literally just plug right into your brain, okay, rewrite your thoughts, create all kinds of neurological problems. And that's just a tiny bit of it. There's a whole massive level of what's called advanced intelligent materials, of the graphene oxide, of the bio nanosensors that are getting into our cerebral cortex, getting into our organs, and literally where they've created a doppelganger of us in digital space, our digital avatar that is robotically controlled by AI in the wireless interface of the WBAN, the wireless body interface, where now they control us, through this avatar that is a digital avatar. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Each of us have a digital avatar, okay? And it interfaces between us and the AI. And they have been recording all of our brainwaves, okay, through satellite networks. And anybody whose brain is working at 10% or higher of our brain capacity, they automatically target for intervention, okay, to attack your thoughts, attack your neurology, attack your body. It's automatic, built in to the ASI, into the artificial superintelligence, where they have had, people don't understand, they've had control, or known, not control, but since the 70s and 80s, they have been able to find you through your DNA antenna since then. Okay, since way back 50 years ago, they were able to isolate people through their DNA electrical antenna. We have a DNA signature, okay? They were doing it then. Now it's down to the point where they are plugged into you 24/7. They know how to get to you all the time. And it's important to understand that, there's Dr. Duncan from the CIA, and all of his work that he did, he said basically, yeah, human brainwaves are completely being recorded 100%, and that you'll be targeted if you're a highly functioning brain person. If your brain is working beyond 10% capacity, they're going to come after you because they want to absolutely stop brain function. Because when you have higher brain function, you're connecting to God. You're connecting to massive amounts of intelligence that reaches out into the universe and is meant to put us into next level spiritual knowing. You are meant to evolve into a higher spiritual state, and they want to stop that. Of course, they want to capture you into the digital matrix, and so that's what's going on with this interbody nano network system that has been aerosolized into us, that we breathe in. If you didn't take the shots, you're still breathing it in. And I don't mean to be all doom and gloom, because we can take it out. Okay, we can take it out. I heard some really good things about this today. And so one simple thing, which is really cool, because this is about synthetic stuff, about silicon, about polyethylene glycol. It's about basically a lot to do with plastics. Okay, and nanotech that is dependent on plastics or plastic-derived materials that are nano-robotic in the body. And things like essential oils, okay, are really important. Essential oils, things like grapefruit, lemon, oregano, peppermint, cinnamon. So you get your citrus, your antibacterial and fungal essential oils, peppermint, cinnamon, right? So good, so powerful. These essential oils will absolutely melt styrofoam. If you just put a drop on a styrofoam cup, it'll melt it. Okay, so what it means is that if you take these essential oils, like human grade, that you can actually put them into your body, ingest them, you have to get a good high quality one, then it can kill, it can stop these plasticines in the body, okay? And the PEG, the hydrogels, the nanolipids. This is great, and it's a great, fairly cheap way to do it, right? But then if you want to go kind of next level, there's something really cool that I've been checking out, and it's called Methylene Blue. Methylene Blue. I might even start giving this away on the channel. If I can make more revenue, I'm going to start giving it away next year in January. But methylene blue is a very interesting compound that was created originally, I think, for dyeing during surgery, so they could see clearly what they were doing in surgery. But what they found was that it's an ultraviolet blue dye. What they found is that it has massive it binds hydrogels, it will bind plastics, it binds all the stuff inside mitochondria. So it gets into the mitochondria. You know how I'm always talking about the C60 Evo, incredible antioxidant? Well, methylene blue is an incredible antioxidant too. And what's great about this C60 Evo is it binds, okay, to all the garbage in the mitochondria. It holds on to it to get rid of it using your melatonin, your glutathione. Well, the methylene blue, it literally binds to these hydrogels as well. This one comes from globalhealing.org, Dr. Group. I know global, you always hate that word, but globalhealing.org is a great company. But this methylene blue, it binds hydrogels, okay, and then what I love with the C60 combo is it can help to flush them out, right, out of the mitochondria, and it crosses several barriers in the mitochondria, the methylene blue, to hop over the oxidative response that can happen in the mitochondria. It hops over that in order to flush it out, and so to flush garbage out. Okay, so it binds to hydrogels, it binds to all these plasticines that come out of the nanotech in this biosensor system that they're setting up in our bodies. And it's considered to be, just in recent years, a huge anti-aging mechanism, methylene blue. It has a more pure form, which is called leuco-MB, leuco-methylene blue, LEUCO methylene blue. That's colorless. The methylene blue itself is blue. And if you get some, make sure you put it in like a veggie cap or something. You don't just put it in your mouth; it'll turn your whole mouth blue. But the leuco-MB is colorless, and I haven't gotten myself any of that yet. I'm still looking for a source. But the methylene blue, it has to do with the methylation system, and many people through vaccine damage have huge methylation problems, and so you get this issue with the methylene blue going into the brain, preventing neurodegeneration in the brain, stopping memory loss, stopping all kinds of neurological dysfunction, huge against multiple cancers, breast cancer, prostate cancer, just an incredible, interesting, new anti-aging product out there. Methylene blue. Interesting. I just got it. I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to take it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if I, start, speaking better, looking better, see if it helps me out, because I'm always looking for something that helps with methylation and mitochondrial ATP production in the cells. So this is very interesting. It fights malaria, which is really interesting. It actually works really well with hydroxychloroquine, apparently, to do what it does. And it's just it's all around a very interesting situation. It globs the hydrogels and the everything to do with graphene oxide. It basically just attacks all of these non-body biotech systems, the nanosensors that they're putting into the body. So I'll let you know what I see about that. I know I've been going on and on, but when we're looking at the attack on the human biofield, we're looking at the attack with the internet body area networks. The wireless body internet networks, where it's basically they're creating internet of bodies, where the biosensors in all of us are interconnecting with each other. We're being each other's own assault systems, and so you want to get off your internet, you want to get off your wireless. You go see your neighbor, and they're full of biosensors, right? Or you're full of biosensors. We're all full of biosensors. And so we can repel and attract each other because we're being hit, okay, by the 5G networks independently on different frequencies and assaulting each other. This is the ultimate weapon, okay, where we are assaulting each other with a wireless network system that is operating differently in each of us. We can repel and attract each other. They can reprogram multiple things going on within our neural networks, within our biological networks, within what we're transmitting and receiving. And so it's so important to understand that we need to go deep, okay? COVID was kind of the operating system upgrade they needed after Morgellons to get this whole thing moving, to get it functioning to the level that it is now. We know it is, okay? We know it is functioning because we know that people are less able to interact. People are less empathic. People are less able to critically think. We're less able to get together. There is an isolation happening within humans, even though as the population is large, the humans are either super aggravated or less empathic and less willing to be around each other. So the answer to that, of course, is humanity. The answer, of course, the biggest population that's not willing to be augmented by transhumanist tech, of course, is really religious folk who have a one deity belief system. Okay, and of course, I would say that Christianity is the one amazing system whereby you have the Holy Spirit sitting inside you, on your heart, able to provide you with God's armor through Jesus Christ to protect us from this onslaught. Because, principality and powers, right? Principalities and powers, we're fighting the demons, okay? And they try to get inside of us, but we have God's armor. We have the Holy Spirit sitting inside of us. So let's absolutely call upon it. Let's call upon it, and let's not waste any time knowing what's going on, because we're in a interdimensional fight where the operatives of the satanic Luciferians, okay, that are getting their energy from a interdimensional class of fallen angels, are trying to take over us, use our energy, make us, even our bloodstream and our heartbeat, work for them, and we won't allow it to happen. And we won't allow our patriotic societies to be taken over, okay, by demonic forces. We won't allow it, and it's actually changing. The tide is changing. We are winning. God is winning. And this last-ditch attempt by the globalists, they're going to have to do the next thing, but we're ready for it. We're ready for it because we're free, and we're going to keep being free. We're going to keep fighting. And, I don't think we're that far. I actually think we're pretty close. It's a tipping point. They're panicking. There's not, aside from really extreme measures, which, aren't beyond their purview, the hearts and minds of humanity have already been won. They've been won in the West, and they've been won, I think, across the world. That we are really not going for, humanity-wide, not going for what they have to offer. No, we want to own things. Yes, we want to eat well. Yes, we want freedom. And no, we don't want Cartel Babylon controlling our lives. So we're going to keep fighting. We have God's armor. Thanks for watching, folks. You are free. I will see you next time.